Seeing as it is 7:01, we will call the roll.
Mr. Griffin.
Present.
Dr. Matusek.
Here.
Mr. Simrod.
Here.
Mr. Lau.
Present.
Mrs. Charles. Here.
Welcome all y'all. Comments? Questions? Displays of affection? Nobody signed up ahead of time. We will move on to consent agenda. Does any member of the board have an item between 3.1 and 3.2 that they'd like to pull out for further discussion?
I have none.
Seeing none, I will move to approve the consent agenda as posted.
Second.
Mr. Griffin.
I will vote yes with abstention on 3.4.
Dr. Matusek.
Read it.
Abstain on 3.1. Yes on the rest.
Mr. Simrod.
Yes.
Mr. Lau.
Aye.
Mrs. Charles. Yes.
Item 4, regular business. 4.1 is in regard to policy changes.
So the policies listed in this, these are all policies that either change with something from a State Department rule, a legislative rule, whatever it may be. And so OSSBA, for the policy services, they send us, their attorneys draft everything, they send out what we need to adopt. And so it's not really a discretionary policy that you can move things around, kind of like the graduation requirements. We talked about that you're going from 3 maths to 4 maths, doing away with some of the electives, but they're kind of rolling them into more electives to kind of choose from. They have to have more. I was asked a question this morning as to what grade level this starts with, and I told you this year's freshmen, and I was wrong. It will actually be next year's 8th graders, because with that 4th math, we have some of the math kids in 8th grade, starting with pre-algebra to get their 4th math, algebra 1. So that's who it starts with. It is technically this year's 7th graders, and that goes into effect for next year when they become 8th graders. So
I move to approve 4.1.
Second.
Mr. Griffin.
Yes.
Dr. Matusek.
Yes.
Mr. Simrod.
Yes.
Mr. Lau.
Aye.
Mrs. Charles. Yes.
4.2 in regard to sudden cardiac emergency response plan.
So this is a new plan, legislative. The Chase Morris was enacted. Young man passed away and cardiac arrest. Schools didn't have AEDs available, and so that part of the deal is you're supposed to have one within proximity of a playing area. So we've got to buy a couple more AEDs to be in compliance. But anytime there's an activity going on, they're supposed to be within such close range, and that's basically what this spells out. Also, it increases where coaches, sponsors working with kids have to have CPR refresher course every year, not the 2 years. They have to have it every year. Once again, OSSBA sent this. You had little modifications as to how you could do. Our coaches drafted up. Brian Richardson is Director of Safety. They drafted up kind of what works for us, and that'll go in conjunction with our emergency plan that we send Kingfisher County Emergency Services.
Has there ever been any training of students on using the AED or discussion of that? Because if it was in a classroom, teacher goes down, can't get one of the people that is actually.
There hasn't been discussion here that I'm aware of.
It was asking me about a year ago. Did we have AEDs? And I knew we had them throughout the campus, but I think, and it may have been when this was being discussed in the legislature.
I don't know if
student involvement with that, or
yeah, I'll have to ask on that, Patrick. I don't know. Is there possibly
I just remember
liability
that was
of
brought
somebody younger?
Right.
I don't know. I have to check on that.
Right.
And see if there's a responsibility for us to do something like that.
Questions?
I have none. Move to approve 4.2.
Second.
Mr. Griffin.
Yes.
Dr. Matusek.
Yes.
Mr. Simrod.
Yes.
Mr. Lau.
Aye.
Mrs. Charles. Yes.
Is there new business that you were not aware of?
No new business.
Then we will go right into your reports.
There's a short report on facilities. Parking lot, you've driven by there, I mean, they've got just a couple of areas left to pour. They've got the north-south fence that connects right behind the baseball dugout running south of the football field left. Unless we have something that really slows them down between now and the first football game, which is on August 30th, they plan on having the parking lot done, sealed, striped, and they plan on starting that toward the end of this week, actually. The light poles are on back order, so those won't be ready for the first game, but they should be ready by that next game, which is September 27th, I believe. So luckily, first game light out anyway when the people get in there, and they're not used to it anyway. It'll be new as it is. One thing been asked about that I want to point out, that baseball fence that extends from the baseball field to the football field, runs north-south, it will have a 5-foot wide individual entry gate. That way baseball can secure that and, charge admission. But it will also have a 12-foot gate for vehicles that during football games, we will have somebody manning that, and we'll have that for baseball games as well. But so those that need access to the area that we've always had as the ADA part in that northeast corner, they will still have access to that. It won't change.
Did that fencing get taken out that had been there beyond to the east of the dumpster?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, I hadn't been back there since I was a kid.
Yeah, it was removed just to open things up there, kind of help with turnaround some of that stuff. And then right behind that, Gary's been working, and I think in the next couple of weeks, they're supposed to take out that underground tank and take that, and then it'll take a couple of weeks. They got to test the soil and, do all of those things and see if there's anything we need to do there. But if everything comes back, then we'll take the dirt, what's left, fill it in, and then if there's anything left and people want to use it for personal use, we'll put an ad out on All About Hennessey or Facebook page or something to kind of pick up and just get some dirt if you need it. Everybody needed it really before summer. I realize that, but still, fill in. That's all I have on facilities.
Do we know about is the town about finished with the water?
Yes, they are. So they are done with their part. They just have a few service connects, so individual contractors will be coming out for that. But they got done. I mean, they've got to fill in a few areas of dirt, but the bulk of the equipment where it will not disrupt traffic flow, especially for the buses on Thursday, they're done. Yes. And then resignations received. Had 2 from the daycare, Amber Beeman and Cheyenne Fisher. Hugo Rodriguez as ELL aide, and Vivianca Marquez as pre-K aide. She took a teaching position in Enid.
Questions, comments? Move on to 7.1 regarding adjunct teachers. I guess adjunct teacher, Dallas, huh?
We had approved him as, we've hired him, but we just didn't state in the board minutes last time as an adjunct teacher, so we have to do that and submit that with that adjunct application. So that's it. Anything I'm leaving off on that?
It just had to be, I had to specify the subject area.
Oh, okay.
Be aware of the recommended motion that you've already plugged in, and it has an incorrect name.
Oh, okay.
Cut and pasted, I guess.
Probably.
So yeah, I would recommend to the board approving Dallas Hunt as an adjunct teacher for high school, U.S. history, Oklahoma history, government, and economics.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Dr. Matusek?
Yes.
Mr. Simron?
Yes.
Mr. Lau?
Aye.
Mrs. Charmison? Yes.
7.2 regards support staff for 24-25.
So we were able to replace the 2 daycare workers, and I recommend Cheyenne Cauldron and Antoinette Rojo for those positions.
And the paraprofessional. I just haven't added that.
Okay, and with the
Sandra
paras-
Torres.
Who is it?
Sandra Torres.
Sandra
I
Torres.
recommend Sandra as well, as a paraprofessional.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Dr. Matusek?
We were
Yes.
having discussion.
Mr. Simron?
Yes.
Mr. Lau?
Aye.
Mrs. Charmison? Yes.
7.3 regards extra duty assignments.
So We approved at one time the extra duty assignments and with the pay stipends. The pay stipends, the only one that changed from what I originally showed you is there was not anybody at the time vacant to do the concession stand, and we approved that amount at $3,000. That's actually going to be $1,500, so it went down. All the others are the pre-approved amounts that we've done, so no increases on any of those. But now we've got designated personnel, so Todd Cameron for junior high volleyball, Alondra Portillo for assistant volleyball. As I mentioned, Nathan Hill doing the concession stand, Beth Curran is going to go back to doing the yearbook, Danny Powers, senior class sponsor, and Jacob Bullis as junior class sponsor.
Now, the concession stand director, that covers it
Mainly
all?
basketball.
Just
mainly,
basketball?
mainly winter sports.
Okay, I thought that,
Yeah.
you know, the fall, then transfer into the gym, then transfer into baseball softball.
Yeah, band runs in the fall, and so they work together on product inventory switch over, but I think they take care of it.
So mainly,
Yeah,
the
they,
event center.
yeah.
Okay. Questions? I'll move to approve those extra duty assignments with pay as listed.
Second.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes, sir.
Dr. Matusek?
Yes.
Mr. Simrod?
Yes.
Mr. Lau?
Aye.
Mrs. Jarvis? Yes.
Still no new business?
No new business.
Then I'll move to adjourn.
Nothing's come up.
Second.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Dr. Matusek?
Yes.
Mrs. Simrod, or Mr. Simrod, sorry.
Yeah, yes.
Mr. Lau? Mrs. Jarvis? Yes.
Are you ready for